One foggy morning while walking along the harbor in Maine, I looked over and noticed these boats sitting at anchor, quiet, and it made me think about the lobstermen that piloted these boats every day. In my mind, I contemplated an idea that told a story about a fate worse than failure. What's worse than failure, you ask? Let's think about it. With these boats, the story that came to mind was a cold morning and a seasoned lobsterman setting out into the rough seas to check his pots. Like so many times before, he cast off the mooring lines and pointed the bow of his boat out into the dark waters as the smell of diesel mixed with salt air swirled in the building wind. A drifting fog muddled his view, swells pushed back a little bigger than he cared for, and a biting rain nudged itself between the seams of his slicker, and it wet the shirt on his back. His mind focused on the sound of the engine, the heading of the compass, and the direction of the waves and wind as they pushed and pushed against his boat. He focused on completing the task at hand. This chilly morning, his mind contemplated the many challenges that he felt he needed to complete in order to be content with his efforts for this day. His job, not an easy one, but in his mind, easy is no different than boring, and he carries no desire for boredom. His goal today is no different than the many cold mornings that came before. Overcome the obstacles, prove once again that passion and purpose drive productivity, and avoid this fate that he felt was worse than failure. There's an outcome worse than failure? What could that possibly be? Well, if you asked this lobsterman, in my mind what he would tell you would be, he's seen it in others when times got tough. They let the tough overcome the passion, and then they stopped trying altogether. They quit living in his mind. They gave up writing their story and chose to perform on a present-day stage surrounded by the audience of past regret. They tossed aside potential. They didn't let the difficult days become the entertaining stories they could become, that he could talk about, or the lessons that they could learn from them. Instead, they decided to wake up and waste their time wishing they'd done something different in their yesterdays, hanging that weight around their neck like an anchor, the anchor that kept them from moving freely into their next tomorrow. Those who strive for success will always tell us that to consciously decide not to try is far worse than trying and failing at any task. So the lesson that I see this lobsterman teaching us: pull up our anchors, pull up any anchors of past regret, and then make a plan to keep from setting new anchors that might slow down our journey into more productive tomorrows. The bottom line is, let life decide when it's time for us to stop trying.